What's good with the YouTube? It's your boy Flacco from a convict's perspective coming in with a little bit of energy. I got my boy Senor Rojo in La Casa. What's cracking with it, brother?
Man, just chilling, bro. Just chilling. Another day at the office, my man.
Yeah, most definitely, most definitely. So we got an interesting topic, man. We pulled up a recent indictment regarding the Aryan Brotherhood, man. This is 2021, man, and it just goes to show that these indictments keep on coming along. If you keep on playing that game, stuff is going to happen.
No doubt, no doubt. This one is man, it's called Operation Lucky Charm. And man, it was all down in the Fresno area and all around there, but also all around the state too, man, because when they come after a group like that on the streets, it's going to affect, levels in the county jails as well as the prison system, but we'll get right into it, man. This is from the Coalinga Press. And it says a collaborative effort dubbed Operation Lucky Charm by multiple law enforcement agencies, including the FBI, ATF, MAGEC, which unfortunately I don't know what that means, Joe, and others, made a huge dent in the activities and impact of the Fresnex, a white supremacist gang. As part of Operation Lucky Charm, the Fresno County Sheriff's Office and the Multi-Agency Gang Enforcement Consortium, that's what that is, worked in conjunction with several law enforcement agencies, including the California Department of Justice, the California Highway Patrol, Fresno Police Department, Fresno County District Attorney's Office, Clovis Police Department, Federal Bureau of Investigation, California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, and the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of California. Now, on November 19th of 2020, law enforcement agencies executed 26 search warrants and 65 arrest warrants in Fresno, LA, San Luis Obispo, Santa Barbara, and Tulare counties. Over the course of the investigation into the Aryan Brotherhood, the Fresnex and their associates, 102 arrests were made, 47 firearms, 89 pounds of meth, 5.75 pounds of heroin, and $136,000 were seized. Arrests were made for a variety of charges, including murder, kidnapping, firearms, and other crimes. The task force was praised by Fresno County Sheriff Margaret Mims for their tireless work, commitment, and cooperation as they investigated the Fresnet Street Gang and its connection to the Aryan Brotherhood. Both groups have a strong presence in the California prison system. Working alongside local, state, and federal law enforcement partners, we've zeroed in and taken down alleged members of the two criminal organizations with a history of violent crime in Fresno and throughout California as a whole, said Attorney General Becerra. The success of this operation highlights the way multi-agency collaboration can help keep our community safe. And we want to thank all the individuals who made this operation a success. The project began in January, leading to an in-depth exploration of the criminal networking through the prison system. At this point, no employees of the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitations were implicated in the findings of the task force. What they say right there just causes a little bell to go off that they thought there was some kind of, collaboration with CDC or, guards or, whoever the case might be. Interesting. We'll have to figure out why. Numerous plots, plans, and transactions were disrupted by the investigation and uncovered a multitude of crimes, including the distribution of meth and heroin into Montana and into Idaho. The investigation into the illegal activities partnership between the Fresnex and Aryan Brotherhood began in January of 2020. As leads developed, law enforcement served search warrants at several locations. By mid-November, a total of 102 arrests were made, 47 guns were recovered, 136 grand in cash, and nearly 90 pounds of meth were confiscated, along with close to 6 pounds of heroin. These numbers include results from large joint agency operation, which took place on Thursday, November 19th, where search warrants were served at 24 homes and cell searches were conducted within several California prisons. A key element of the operation was the ability of prison inmates to obtain cell phones. This allowed certain gang leaders to give directions to other gang members outside the prison, ordering them to sell drugs, guns, and orchestrate violent crimes. Investigators worked with the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation to identify inmates in control of calling shots. Some of these key players include 34-year-old Kenneth Bash, 52-year-old Todd Morgan, 47-year-old Robert Eversole, 40-year-old Marlon Palmer, and 40-year-old Angel Lopez. Numerous times, investigators were able to intercept cell phones and drugs which are attempting to be smuggled into prisons. The success of this operation is a tribute to great working relationship between state, local, and federal agencies. All of the people arrested now face state and/or federal charges. Detectives are still seeking to arrest 13 people in connection with this. Sarah Booth, Carlos Bravo, Orozco, Cody Brown, Robin Davis, Fawn Demel, Callie Eversole, Kerry Gunter, Chancellor Kaufman, Brock Larson, Jeffrey Moore, Amari Ornelius, Vanessa Palomar, and Eric Rockland. In all, 102 arrests were made against members of the Aryan Brotherhood and the Fresnex gang, which Fresno County Sheriff Margaret Mims described as a white supremacist group in philosophy. 5 members of Fresnex leadership who were formerly incarcerated in CDCR facilities have been relocated into other institutions. For information, more information will be added as it becomes available. Their ongoing effort and further activities are expected. I mean, it's a pretty short article, man, but I mean, it goes to show that when you're part of any of these groups, gangs, whatever, they're going to come after you. You know, you're only going to have a certain lifespan in the amount of, meaning in the amount of time you can conduct these activities without it come crashing down eventually, you know?
Yeah, you know, the one thing I noticed that was kind of interesting, man, it just goes to show that the AB is getting extremely active. And this just goes to show, like, the one thing that I noticed around the early 2000s, what they started to do, right? You know, the 90s, the AB was kind of dying out a little bit. You weren't hearing too much about them. They were all locked up in the Bay. And they made the smartest move that they could possibly make, is they started to recruit certain individuals from these gangs out there, you know, E9, Wolfpack, you know, NLR, whatever. I mean, and probably it's probably some cats from this new thing I've never heard of, Fresnex. Maybe they've been around for a while. I just never encountered anybody because I guess the majority of my time I did was around mainly NLR and AB members.
Likewise.
You know, but it just goes to show, like, when I was out in the streets, you know, I mean, the Bay Area and all that, you didn't hear about the ABs too active out there in the streets conducting business. I mean, they were much more discreet, low level, lower activities. You just didn't really hear about it too much. That's just one area. That's Fresno. You know what I'm saying? And with the ABs being out there on these main lines now, right? This is one thing that we never touched about. I want you to really touch on it too, and give me your opinion. Now that you have all these big homies that are out there on these main lines, right? It's not just the resources to make money inside these prisons, it's the resources of individuals that they run into, that they protect, that they offer security, that could tap them into unlimited resources and things that could be valuable for them outside on the streets. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no doubt, man. That's one of the things, you know, even when they started back in the days when the Black Widow thing happened and everybody went to the feds, it's like, you already have the problem in California. Why extradite people? You know, one of the group's main goals is to further their advancement in every direction. And it's the same thing with people getting released from the SHU. I mean, yeah, they found it unconstitutional. I don't think people should have to sit in the SHU based solely on who they do or don't hang out with, man, because in California, you don't necessarily have a lot of choices whether you can hang around a gang or not. You know what I mean? You're either going to fit in or you're going to get smashed on, you know, I mean, so it's not like a lot of people who've been validated and all this stuff over the years had much of a choice, man. And it's cool that they let them out of the SHU. You know, I understand there's a reason for a SHU. If you mess up, you got to pay the consequences. Don't play the game if you can't, you know, take the losses, man. But that allowed all these OGs with all these goals and you know, education to get at all these youngsters that would never have any kind of insight as to what's going on with these groups any other way, you know. So what I'm saying is, I know I'm not making a lot of sense, is they're going to come, ever since they've been out of the SHUs, man, it's been an open recruiting pool, to whereas when they were in the SHU before, 1 or 2, 3, 4 people might come into the pod every year and leave. That was the access they had at recruiting and that kind of stuff. Now you're on a yard with 300 people. So these groups they're going to keep going, you know, and they're going to continue to do things in the community, and law enforcement's going to continue to do what they do. You know, I mean, it's a never-ending cycle. But like as we preach all the time, you know, from our perspective, you don't got to worry about those consequences, man, if you ain't in that game. you know?
Let's keep it 100, right? It's not even the big four no more. It's the big three.
True.
It's the big three now. They're the only ones that have any group under their umbrella.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? We know the Mexican Mafia got, the Southsiders under their umbrella, the NF got some Northerners, and the Aryan Brotherhood has all the whites.
Yeah.
Now that if there isn't a few white factions who are going against the grain. From my understanding, there's a few that have been green lighted over personal issues, over money owed, over running yards and bad calls. But basically, that's just the way it operates now. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I mean, someone made a comment and they thought that we were against the true kickouts and that we were pro SNY. Neither one of us have ever been SNY.
No.
You know what I mean?
Last time I even been to the pen was in 06, 07, 08, and I was still validated. That was before the kickouts even happened. You know what I mean?
So, our message is this, I mean, I'm glad those guys got out the shoe.
Yeah,
I'm
no
glad
doubt.
that they get entitled to all those privileges and say that every inmate should be entitled to. But I'm not an advocate for SNY, and I'm not an advocate for GP. I'm an advocate for change, for people being family men, taking care of their kids, and not living that gang lifestyle. That's what we promote. But
No doubt.
this is what happens. The reality, the same things that happen on these GP yards, the same type of things are happening on SNY yards. It's just a whole little bit different type of conduct. And of course, the CDC administration is going to target those from the big three, mainly. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I know you hear the term the big four, but I don't even, no disrespect to that fourth one, but they're not actively recruited. They don't have an active membership on these lines. They don't have subordinates who, as far as anybody that's within their race files. And that's not to disrespect them, because a lot of them are good soldiers. A lot of them are good dudes. A lot of them have those revolutionary beliefs that are solid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's the other three that have more of the criminal organization mindset, to where they're recruiting when they're putting these street games. You know what I mean? This indictment is just focused. The amount that they produced, if you notice, this was all circled around Fresno County and a few prisons.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just one county.
Yeah.
Now, the whole state of California.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing I'm seeing, man, especially with the other indictments that they have, you know what I mean, with Yandell getting indicted from Coco County and a couple of those other cats, man, is the AB's presence is a lot more proactive as opposed to when we were in the system, because they were almost obsolete. You know what I mean? They were, excuse my language, they were almost, I'm not going to say obsolete, that's the wrong word. They were almost.
It's obsolete anyway.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
I got you, baby.
Yeah. They were almost extinct. I knew I was saying something wrong, man. I'm using the wrong terminology right now. They were almost extinct.
No doubt.
Existing, man. And so now, like, I mean, it's going to be a whole different, like you said, the recruiting process is going to change, man. You're going to see more indictments. You're going to see more changes, man. But that's the thing that just kept on clicking in my head, like, man, Fresno. I've never heard of no Fresnex. Have you?
No.
You know what I mean? And it just goes to show that what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, what these organizations are doing is that they're playing. And you got to admit, if we were out there or we were part of that group, we'd be doing the same thing. It's a smart move. It's a tactical move.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you look at it. They look at the success that the gentlemen from down south have, as well as our former group, by utilizing other people to do their bidding without necessarily having to give them equal footing inside of those groups. So they're not getting the big share of the pie. It was just a matter of time before, like you said, they were gonna, phase out or resurge, and they're making a resurgence right now. And you don't necessarily have to be the elite level gang member, one of the big three would be, to face them same kind of racketeering charges. They're going to approach you the same. It just, if your homeboy happens to talk to one of them dudes and he's doing their bidding, and unbeknownst to you, you're on the streets hustling and stuff, but it's tied into that group, they don't want to hear that. That's going to put you in a place where you have two choices: don't say nothing and take the time, or fold. You know what I mean? Because you're going down just like they're going down. Am I right? I mean, straight up. They're not going to show you no mercy because you don't happen to be AB, but you're going to try to say, oh, I didn't even know. They're going to laugh you out of court.
And the feds, man, I mean, let's keep it real, man. They're very, very, they're sly. They're slick.
What happens when the feds come? Is it over? It's over. It's over.
And what they'll do is their whole mindset is, okay, we got these people. Let's branch this off. Let's get these other people who are mere associates.
Yep.
The more people we can get in line into a case, the more chance one of them's going to flip. They got 102 people arrested in that case, man.
And they're looking for like 15 of them still.
And I guarantee, I mean, let's keep it real. I guarantee you half of them don't even deserve to be fucking indicted.
Yeah.
But with federal laws, they find a way to fucking find a case.
Yeah, half of them were just out there hustling and selling dope. They just happened to be tied into a group that was tied into a group that was tied into a group. You know, I mean, that's real talk.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy how the laws have changed, man. And
Yeah.
you know, these gang statutes and gang enhancements, and it's just like, man, you go pick up someone from point A to take them to point B, you just assisted a crime.
Right.
I mean, and next thing you know, you're looking at 20, 30 years, you know what I'm saying, over transferring a quarter ounce or something, bro. I mean, something that simple. It's fucking crazy nowadays, man.
You know, I was thinking about it the other day, you know, with this whole end of hostilities thing and the agreements that were made in Pelican Bay during the hunger strike, however it went down. All that was all those groups admitting that there's enough pieces of pie for everyone. You know what I mean? That they don't have to sit there and go throat for throat. They could be way more successful not having to worry about all that extra stress on them. You know what I mean? So now what they're doing, their focus is on recruitment, education, and expansion to the streets.
Well, you got to, man. I mean, that's the whole mindset, man. I mean, you know, it's just unfortunate that, I mean, that there would be more of a positive influence being advocated now. It's all crime. It's all drugs. It's all trade.
Yeah.
Everything is based upon monetary purposes.
Well,
Period.
positively in that lifestyle is a sign of weakness.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, they're still doing things. You got to give it to people like Todd Ashker. You mean, you know, he did that. You mean,
Yeah.
he made changes. You know, he was able to bring people forth with a vision, man, to get those guys out. Because regardless of what I think about crime and criminal organizations and gangs, I don't think anybody deserves to be locked up in the shoe. I think we should. That's one thing we used to fight for. I mean, was equal justice, equal rights.
Yeah.
To be out there on those main lines. So, you know, that's law enforcement's job to combat the crime aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? So I used to get fed up. Now we'd be in the shoe, man. We have to go, what was it, $35 per draw?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A month.
And two things that bothered me the most about the shoe was, for one, like, say you were halftime eligible. You weren't in there on no strikes. You weren't in there doing a grip of time. Well, because they say that you're in a gang, you no longer get halftime. That shouldn't be up to the state of California to determine. You were sentenced by a judge to have halftime credits. Now, since they put you on C status or whatever the hell it was, D1D or whatever, when you go to the shoe, you automatically go to third time. So, I mean, if you're doing a 10-year bid and you're eligible for half, instead of doing 5 years, you're doing closer to 7 now. Not like that's not, I didn't get punished by the courts like that. And now you're punishing me based on some people I know. And then two, you take my situation. I got validated when I wasn't even in the prison gang. You know what I mean? So all that time I lost being validated was, that was extra time that I didn't deserve.
Well, let's look at this case right here you just talked about. Most of those charges would probably carry anywhere from 16 months to maybe 4 years.
By themselves, yeah.
Now with the gang enhancements, you're looking at 14 to 30 years. Whereas if you did the same crime and you were not associated with no gang, you know, you're doing your little 2-year bid, 4-year bid. What, you know what I mean? Just possession of a firearm, 16, 2, and 3. I mean, I bet you some of those cases are just small charges.
Yeah.
Where someone had dope or a scale or a gun over here at a location and they're being indicted under it, huh?
Yeah.
They're being thrown looking at 14 to 30 years. And in their mind, they're probably being told like, hey, all this carries is this much time. You've never been to jail. You know, you'll get probation. You got someone maybe out there in the streets, never been to prison, man. You get brought up in a RICO Act. Next thing you know, you're looking at like 20 years.
Yeah, and all the girls that got manipulated into doing some kind of assistance, you know what I mean? They're screwed. And what's going to happen is they're going to go to make this offer of 15 years, and you're going to be like, hold on, well, wait, this only carries 16, 2, and 3. You're a gang ass, but I'm not in no gang. We'll prove it. Tell us what you know. That's what's gonna go down in the fucking interrogation room, bro.
They're gonna paint some fucking crazy ass picture and stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're gonna be in front of a, you know what I mean, a whole federal trial, something totally different, man. I mean, they're coming locked and barrel. You never hear about the feds ever losing the case, man. Never.
No, it
And
doesn't happen, man.
about a federal case, what people don't realize is you don't even know who the witness is until you go to trial. They're not revealed. So you can sit there and speculate and assume. That's why a lot of the organizations were requesting people to take it to trial to reveal who the person is that's testifying against them, because sometimes you may not know. You may be thinking about, man, they may have like 3, 4 informants. And you're like, what the hell? I mean,
Yeah,
but that's
and
how.
the advantage they have on that too is most of the heads of these groups have life, so it doesn't matter if they take it to trial or not. So all that stuff will be revealed in the end anyway.
Yeah,
You don't
yeah.
get, if you already got life plus 300 years and you get a damn RICO act, you're
Well,
why not take it to trial?
where the feds get tricky though, man, it's like, that's where a lot of people in Black Widow fell off. They were being offered time, but they were being told that they couldn't take no deals. The only one that was given permission to take a deal was Skip at that time, and his whole purpose was to go over there and recruit.
Right.
Well, here you get people that are offered 10, 12 years, 15 years, and you're being told that you can't take a deal. Half the dudes decided to take a deal. Based upon that, they were flipped.
Yeah.
Okay? So it's the same thing here. I mean, if people are offered deals and they're told, hey, no, don't take a deal, what do you think is going to happen? People are going to take those deals, man.
Yeah. Take it to trial and get a guaranteed 15 or take 5. That it doesn't even necessarily mean you're going to snitch. It's just you don't want to go to trial. It's messed up, man, that they take away your right to correctly defend yourself, man. But it's part of that life. That's what a lot of people need to realize, that you get involved in some of these groups, man, your legal defense is no longer your legal defense. It's our legal defense.
Is there anything else interesting you found interesting with this case?
Not so much, man. I mean, it seems pretty typical standard, man. Let's get another group to align with us because they got something going on and we can utilize them, and we're going to utilize them and get paid.
I think there's a whole nother case that happened a few months after that. I guess this case was 2020, as a matter of fact. This case was circling Fresno. We talk about that. I think there was another case indictments that happened with them a couple months later in 2021.
In conjunction with another group?
Well, no, it was with the AB. It was they were doing business out of state too, as well. And they had an MA member that was associated that got hemmed up.
Yeah, that's what I meant by in conjunction with somebody else. Yeah, I heard about that one, man. We're gonna have to definitely research that one as well and try to bring that one to the table, man. I can't remember the name of it, but I know what you're talking about. Excuse me, you guys. But yeah, I mean, I don't see nothing particularly that stands out with this one because it seems pretty textbook. It's just like everybody has done over the years, and there's nothing that's outlandish or new. It's the same old,
the one thing I want to try to see is how do they establish their territories and turf? Do they send someone out there like you have regiment commanders or MA member has someone out there who does their bidding out there in their areas? You know what I mean? One gets out, you know what I mean? Whoever's out there can have favor out there in the streets. That's where the little turmoil sometimes occurs, right? I wonder how they operate. You know what I mean? Or do they just have one person from each street gang that's reporting to them, and then this is where they kick in their taxes? Because I know they're getting taxed. That's a fact.
I mean, that would be the smartest way to do it, man. But I'm not really the most familiar, especially with the white boy politics. So it's hard to say how they do it, but that would be the.
Powder gives a good rundown on a lot of things, man. Powder on stories written by current prisoner.
Oh yeah, he's sharp for sure.
His videos are pretty good, man. He'd be talking about how people are getting taxed or how they have to do this and that, man. I was like, wow, their stuff's no different than any of these other groups, man. That's the crazy thing.
Not at all. They're all based on the same foundation, man. They're just built a little different. That's all.
I think the same slogan is, same mindset. Street gangs must be the same, that they're working for their big homes. They want to have association. They want to have the affiliation. It's the same way Northerners, Norteños get manipulated into working with these regiments. The same way these street gangs get manipulated. Hey, we're working for the brand. We're working for the big homes, the AB. It's that same mindset, man.
No doubt. Yeah, it just all depends where your loyalty lies, man. But yeah, they all have the same foundation, man. Just some of the architecture is a little different, man. But at the end of the day, it all boils down to the same, goals, and that's dollars,
Yeah.
That doesn't change.
No, it doesn't.
I guess that'll wrap it up for this one. Yeah, man, we would definitely try to look up that other one that involved another group and bring that to the plate. But For now, this is your boy Rojo. Appreciate you guys as always. And we'll be right back at you.